Hello,
This
everyone.
meeting is being recorded.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to May. Nearly halfway through May, which is great if you're in the US because it's starting to get warm. If you're in Australia, it's starting to get chilly. Although it looks like, Rosanna, you've got some beautiful weather in Kangaroo Island, which is wonderful. So good to be here. It looks like we've only got a little group this month, but that's okay. That means we all get opportunity to chat and share and learn and be inspired and leave pumped. That's the goal. Well, or just feeling good about where you're at. I think that's the bigger goal, is just to be wherever you're at right now, feel good about it. I think that's a key thing. So, well, I think because we've got a small group, I think we could probably do a bit of a go around the room and just say hi, because I think we all know each other, don't we? I don't think there's anyone. No, I think Eva, this is your second or third time. So, but we'll do just a quick where we're at, what's happening. And I know, Eva, we'll get you to start because this is coming up to a very significant anniversary for you. So Eva, who's in Melbourne, with just around the corner from me. We had fun, didn't we, the other night? Eva, we had a half-price pizza and in St Kilda and chatted about great things, Bali and all the cool stuff that's coming up. So,
all right. So Monday is the 15th of May, and 24 years ago on Monday, I was crossing the Pearn Highway, just one crossing away from where I was last night, and I got hit by a car, and I sustained a severe brain injury. I was in a coma, had to learn to walk again, talk again, everything all over again. And so that's coming up on Monday, my anniversary. And this anniversary is 24 years since the injury happened. And I had just turned 23 at the time. So incidentally, that is why I was on Kangaroo Island at Discovery Caravan Park last year. And I did my 23 years. So last year was my half point in life, half without a disability, half with a disability. So I sustained a severe brain injury, and I've had to reboot myself completely and learn to be me again. So technically I'm 47, but actually no, I actually
24.
say I'm nearly 24.
Version 2 of Eva. 24.
Yeah. Well, actually, it's not. It's actually now. I mean, actually, Eva 0.4, because Eva 0.1 was birth to accident. Eva 0.2 was accident to 2009 when I had cancer, and then Eva 0.3 was cancer to the Eva 0.3 was cancer to the anniversary, and now I'm Eva 0.4. So,
well, tell us about Eva 0.4. Why is Eva 0.4 different?
Eva 0.4 is different because I no longer have a comparison. Of course, when I was before I'd reached 23, I'd say, okay, this time last life, I was doing this. And so actually what I was doing immediately before I got hit by the car was I had completed 4 contracts in Japan as a cabaret dancer, and I had just passed an audition, and I was coming back from one of the first rehearsals for a group of young people. We were going to go to China and be pop stars, but that didn't happen. So it's quite a trip, guys. It's quite a trip.
Life is a journey, isn't it? And so Eva's now obviously launching into writing her book, finally, aren't you? And very powerful.
I have thousands and thousands and thousands of pages because I've kept a diary. Sorry, Andrew, I interrupted. That's very rude of me. All right, so I have thousands of pages of diary, and it's quite intimidating. I don't know where to start. I don't know what to do. I don't really know how to focus. I'm just a bit. So I'm looking at Bali. Bali's going to be my kickoff point.
Yeah, awesome.
And I look forward to meeting whoever's coming.
Yeah, yay.
Okay, I'll shut up.
Well, thank you for sharing that, Eva. And I don't know, are we celebrating this anniversary? Or I think you said to me the other day, this is going to be the last time you celebrate, or is this the last time you celebrate the anniversary? Or
I think last year was the last time. I think now I allow myself to not be defined by my injury anymore.
I think that's a smart thing too. I think every day is a celebration, isn't it? So every day we're awake and alive and have an opportunity to do great things is cause for celebration. Anyway, thanks, Eva. Anyone else want to share where they're up to at the moment, where they're at? Wow. Overwhelmingly overwhelming response by that. Oh, thanks, Lise. You've just broken the silence. Thank you.
I'll talk because I've got a bit of a cold, so I might lose my voice soon. So I best get in while I can.
Got it.
Yeah, this last week's been a bit of a disaster. I've just fallen into the hole, really. So I haven't done any writing or exercising or anything much except feel sorry for myself. And I got a puppy, but that's good.
And a very cute puppy too.
It is. I went. I flew to Brisbane to babysit for my grandchildren because my daughter and her partner had an anniversary. So I did that, and then I got ill. I don't know whether it was the grandchildren or the plane trip or what it was, but so then I've been sick and feeling sorry for myself, and I haven't done any writing. So, but I did talk to Andrew this week, and I do have something exciting coming up in July. I will be leaving work and working 2 days a week only. So I've probably been using that as a bit of an excuse, thinking, well, I'll do everything then. But as Andrew said, you need to get into a bit of a routine now because people sort of reach that point and then don't do it. So my plan now is from today is switch. Normally I do a bit of exercise before work and things, so I'm going to switch it around because then once you get back home from work, you sort of think, oh, really? So I'm going to switch that round and have the morning writing before I go in, then hopefully do a bit of exercise in the afternoon. But if I don't, I really don't care at this point in time. So I'm going to prioritise my writing. But yeah, I fell off the wagon really. But
oh well, we all. Is there anyone sitting here that hasn't fallen off the wagon of something at some point? All right, so we're in good company.
So that's where I am. If anyone has any brilliant ideas.
What do you need brilliant ideas for, please?
Well, I don't know. Probably
getting
not
back on the wagon
ideas.
or
getting back on the wagon.
I say the best thing for you to do right now would be to get better first.
Probably. But yeah, that's where I am. So my plan is I'm going to get there, but
you are going to get there. And I think you don't need a solution or an inspiration to get back up on. We're all allowed. You've been sick, so you're allowed to rest. It's okay. Just as Eva said, get over whatever's that sickness, and then get started. Get started again and just get back into the rhythm. You know how to create a rhythm. You know what to do. You've done it multiple times before. You're a published author. You know what to do.
I do. I just have to do it. But
yeah, you do, of course. But just don't do it with no judgment. Do it with joy. Do it with love. I've just written a blog called The Secret Ingredient, and just add love to whatever you do. Just a sprinkle of love, and you'll make it much easier. Thanks, Lise, for sharing. And again, as I said at the start, I want you to feel good about where you're at. So I want you to feel good about the fact that you've done nothing for a week. Feel good about it. It's okay. You've rested.
Okay.
Recovered.
I feel great about
it. Celebrate it. I'm rested. Yay.
Yeah.
I'm fresh. I'm good.
Okay. Thank you.
Good on you, Les. Who would
Can I
like?
say something, Andrew?
Yes, please, Rosina. Always love to hear from you.
I just thanks, Andrew. I just wanted to follow on from Lisa, and I think what you said, Andrew, about the not having judgment, the self-judgment. I think that's really important. Yeah, because things happen, you get sick, and you're feeling bad enough, so you don't need to just put yourself down either. So I think that's really important. That's something that I've been learning. And an article I read during the week, which was really interesting. It's not so much focusing on creating that routine or the writing thing, but it's creating the means to start again when you need to. If you fall off, if you stop or things happen, it's making sure that you've got the things in place that, okay, had a bad week, I've been sick, how do I start again? And it's sort of focusing on that side as opposed to, oh my God, I haven't done it. So yeah. I don't know if that's helpful, Lisa. So
it is helpful.
Yeah, no, it is, Rosina. Thanks. I'm normally pretty good at that, but so I just
You are.
Normally really lenient on myself, really. But
well, bear in mind,
you've
got a puppy. Yeah, but you've got a puppy. That's like having a baby.
I have.
Where's your puppy, Lise? Is your puppy nearby?
He's under my feet. Yeah.
Yeah, come on. Let's meet your puppy. Puppies make everything special, don't they? We love puppies. Here comes puppy. Oh, look at that little face. Look at that face. Hello, puppy. Oh my gosh.
They're so placid.
What's their name?
Him, her.
His name's Bentley.
Bentley. Hey, Bentley. Good show.
Bentley.
Very posh.
He will grow into the name.
That's
I
awesome.
think.
Good. Okay. Well, thanks. So, Rosina, while you're chatting, let's give us a bit of an update how you're going. No judgment.
Okay. No judgment. I had a bit of a health thing a couple of weeks ago, so that put me out of action for a few days. But I was lucky enough to be recuperating at a friend's place in town here, and she's a published author. And so after kind of the initial hell, we ended up doing lots of writing time and bantering about talking. So she really sort of cracked the whip, and I actually ended up getting things done. So I don't know how many years has it been, but I actually sent her something to a publisher. Oh my God, which is a big deal. So I know.
That's a big deal.
And I feel like I've sent you copies, Andrew, but my synopsis, my cover letter, I'm actually feeling good about it finally, and tweak the manuscript. So I feel like, okay, all I now am doing is just looking at publishers and sending it and feeling like, okay, sending it off. So that's good. I'm 25,000 words into a fiction novel that I'm writing and just trying to push that along, which I'm enjoying. So, yeah. So there were lots of silver linings with being unwell and being looked after by my author friends. So, I'm grateful.
Well done. There are lots of things to celebrate. Congratulations, Rosina. Well
Thanks,
done.
Andrew.
Really, really happy for you. Good. Inspiring stuff. Okay, who wants to go now? Anyone want to share? Denise, how are you going? Give us we haven't got much American representation this morning. You're it. So you're the Northern Hemisphere representation today. You're carrying the load of everyone in the Northern Hemisphere.
I can handle it.
You can. I know you can.
I'm doing fantastic. I'm writing pretty consistently or editing and adding this. I'm editing my first draft. And much like Eva, I'm coming up on my 21st anniversary of my traumatic brain injury accident. And I had to learn how to grow and tremors and everything. I had to learn how to read and write and talk and walk through all of that, Eva. So I've been down that road. I got to the point where now I can write a book about that and my mental illness on top of it. And the editing is just so difficult, but I'm at the second to the last chapter. I'm in paper, and all I have to do now is finish it on the computer. I made the mistake of typing each chapter as a separate document, so I printed them all out as I did them, and so now I'm editing them on paper and typing it all back in and editing once again when I type it into one document. That's just my book in completion. So I'm getting to the very end. I had a meeting with Andrew on Monday, and we sort of went over my progress and what to do next when I get done with this stage. But the editing, as everyone has said, for a first-time author is really tough. But I'm enjoying it, and I'm doing it every day, and that's what counts. I'm also, when the weather permitting, it's been actually cold here still. We had snow, 3 feet of snow in the mountains, so it's been raining where I am. So I haven't been able to get out and swim or walk or hike or do anything outdoors. So I feel a little cooped up. Putting all that effort and energy into work.
That's awesome, Denise. And thank you for sharing that. And just so you all know, Denise doesn't normally sound like an alien. Denise, your internet's a little bit funny, but we got it. We still got it. So
okay.
Did you have a head injury?
Yes, traumatic brain injury.
Great. I see you, love. It's a fucker.
good. Well done, Denise. That's amazing. You're doing great. Nearly finished your edit, and then we'll talk about the next steps, won't we? That'll be fun. Always fun.
Yeah.
Just run closer. Every step, every word, every edit is getting you a step closer, which is wonderful. So that's why you've got to celebrate everything. Everything you do, every little thing you do, celebrate it. Celebrate. Good stuff. It's okay, Eva. We understand. Chris, how you go, mate? Good to see you. We're not normally seeing you on a Saturday morning, but it's good to see you.
Yeah, no, it's probably a bit random. Yeah, I haven't written anything, but I've done some research on one of my characters to sort of make him more interesting. So that's probably the only progress I've got. But curiously, around this time last year, I was on Kangaroo Island as well. So we should have had a meeting.
We should have had a party.
Yeah.
Well, from now on, you know, Rosina's on Kangaroo Island, so when you're there, you reach out to her.
Yeah, no, I was over there doing disaster relief work with Disaster Relief Australia. Still doing from the bushfires they had.
Brilliant. Yeah, brilliant, Chris. Wow.
But and recently I've been doing some more over here. Once again, a long-term job from near where I live in Seymour in Victoria. We went over to do disaster relief for a storm that happened in Macedon 2 years ago. We're still cleaning up after that. So
Incredible.
You're doing a lot of great stuff, Chris.
After they drop off the headlines, the work doesn't go away for the people who live there.
No, it doesn't at all. Absolutely. Well, good on you for doing what you do, mate. But keep that book moving forward.
Yes, I shall. Yes.
The story that needs to get out there.
It does.
And Kat, sorry, I'm going to ask you. I know you probably don't want to, but come on.
Nah, that's all right. Yeah, so something I haven't actually shared with this group, though Andrew knows, is I was made redundant from my job in the start of February. So I came in on a Thursday morning, and by Friday noon, all of my access to my company was removed, and 10% of us were gone. So it's it's been a couple of months. So it's just it's been a bit of a journey. It's actually interesting. I think some of the things that we've talked about and learned through this group apply really universally. So, things like just put out the publishers and celebrate the, rejections. You got to do the same with employers. So, 4 interviews and a 30-hour piece of homework later and a rejection because they don't think you will be good at talking to engineers, i.e. you're a girl. You got to just celebrate that because, that's going to be a disaster of a job sort of thing. So, so it's been a journey, and it's taken a lot more of my energy than I thought. Where I was at in the process of the book, I had finished after 600 or whatever consistent days of writing. I'd gotten to the end of my first draft for the book I writing with a project partner, if you will. And so the next stage was getting him to do his next bits and getting a physics teacher to review the book to make sure that I didn't do any of the physics wrong. And so it was sort of it's been out of my hands for a while. And so I was getting progress when I was chasing them a lot and stuff. And then my energy for that has kind of like tampered. So I have gotten a little progress from both of them. There's sort of been an agreement that they're going to have their pieces done by the end of June. We'll see. They haven't quite, but it is what it is. I've picked up and put down a couple of other ideas in the meantime. I haven't had the creative energy for it. But I have reason to believe that I will have an employment situation. It's complicated, and I don't want to overshare reason. I don't want to jinx anything, but basically, I should be employed very, very soon. So I'm to your point, Lisa. I'm reestablishing what my new routine will be, and depending on which way this ends up going, I'll either start working. I'm in WA, so I'll either start working completely East Coast aligned hours, or not. And so that would be a bit of a shift. So I'm used to doing like a 7:30 start, but I'm not as used to, say, in the summer doing a 5 a.m. start. So I will have to be changing up my yeah, exactly. But yeah, tis what it is. So it's an interesting market out there. So we'll see. But yeah, I really like what you said, Rosina, about creating the means to start again, as I think that's kind of where I'm at. I'm not really in a position right now where I can get into. I tried to get into a good routine, then of course it's like, oh, an interview. It's just been wacky. But yeah, I really like the idea of creating the means to start again, so that I can do so. I'm throwing a lovely spanner in all of this works. I'm going to see family for the first time. I don't know how many years. Actually, in America, Denise. I grew up in Colorado, but my family's all in Alaska now. So I'm off to Alaska for 3 weeks from the 1st of June. Yeah. So to see all the new puppies and the new babies and the the like. So that's, no matter what, that throws another spanner in the work. But come the end of June, man, let us have the means to pick up and start again on a proper way. And I'll have, let's think positively, I'll have both my physics reviewer and my partner will have done their stuff. Their deadlines will have been met. I'll be able to really, truly get into the edit phase as well. And then follow Rosina in the submission to publisher range. So that is where I'm at. Yay.
And the key with this whole journey and all of our journey, really, if I look at every one of you, is just hanging in there, and showing up. And there are going to be high spots, low spots, flat spots, dark spots. It's going to happen with all of us.
Yeah.
It's life.
Definitely.
And the key thing is forgiving yourself and loving yourself and just going, okay, well, this is how my journey is going to play out. It's going to take a bit longer than I thought. It's, when you're relying on other people, as you know, Kat, that can be one of the most frustrating things, but you can't control what they do or don't do. So
no, and that's the same, I think, with, publishers or whoever. And once you submitted it, like for me, once I've submitted the enormous job application, I don't know how many of you have applied for jobs in recent days, but it's not uncommon these days for CV, cover letter, 5 different example question, like, but a lot of these job applications take 8+ hours. So, it's a lot of energy, and it's the same with your book, right? Like, it's all this energy, and then like, I guess I'm kind of grateful that like I can imagine the publisher stage now. I was like, oh, like all my energy out there, I'll put it on my little tracker, and 3 months later, if I haven't heard anything, I'll move it into the assumed no category, just like I've done that, with this sort of thing with the 3 weeks later or whatever. So, but it is what it is, and you have to get over that first one, and or what I found with the applications, get over the first one, and then it's just become a thing. So yeah, look, we all have experiences for reasons, and yeah.
Yep. Awesome.
Next step.
Well, good on you, Kat, and thanks for sharing. Okay, so who's got a question? What are the burning questions you've got at the moment that you'd like answered, that this forum can help answer? Eva.
But this is not towards you, Andrew. This is towards Denise. How long has it taken you to write? You're writing about your trauma, are you? You're writing about your accident? You're writing about your injury? What have you done? I'm sorry if this is not the place for this.
No, it's fine.
No, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you're a little bit funny, but we can hear you.
Okay. I started writing my book when I moved to Colorado 2 years ago yesterday, and it took me a year to write manuscript under Andrew's coaching, and I just wrote. I had a lot up and down, had a lot of stuff saved up, but I just sat down and wrote my story from beginning to end, and didn't try to do an outline. I just wrote, and now it took me 6 months to edit all of that. I went through a period of time. I'm bipolar, and I went into a depressive state, and I didn't work for about 3 months. And so I had to move down from that and get back on track. And Andrew's helped me do that. And so really it's taken me about 3 to 4 months now to edit almost the whole book. So yes, I'm writing that, and my mental illness that's been present throughout my life, and then the traumatic brain injury and all the damage that had done to me physically, just compounded everything. And my story is for brain injured people, mentally ill people with disabilities, how to get from where you and I have been, where you couldn't do anything for yourself, to living on my own and writing a book. Soon I'll be driving again. That's my next big step, is to get back behind the wheel of a car. But yeah, my story is about my journey, to try to help other people who find themselves in the same place, how to get from there to being completely independent, and I'm capable of doing now. I'm very grateful.
I'd love to read what you have.
Well, there you go. You've sold one. The next ready. Well done. Cool. Well done, Denise. And okay, anyone else got anything they want to ask or share, or thoughts or reflections or lessons?
I don't have anything really to share around, but I think what Denise was saying about the editing and all that, it does take time. I mean, you've spent all this time writing, and it's about your story and things. So it's you've got a huge amount of information and stories in there that you have to. It's hard editing that. I mean, I think, especially if it's your story, it's like I write fiction, so I'm not the one to be talking, but I think it would be a lot more difficult editing what is your story and working out how that should go into a book. I just think you need to, again, it's about not beating yourself up. Like you're saying how much time it's taken, and but it's a timely. It will take time, and if that's you want your book to be helpful to others, and I think it's just very difficult to edit what is your story, and so take credit for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've been told that over and over. When you're trying to edit your own work, you have to critique yourself. And so it's hard. But I'm getting through it. I'm doing it, and I'm going back to what Andrew said. What do you want the reader to take away? What do you want the reader to learn? How do you want the reader to feel? I think about those three things every day that I edit.
Yeah. Yeah, I think one of the biggest problems, isn't it, with all of us is overthinking. What particularly the first draft, I think that, as I say, just dump it, just let it. Don't worry about it. And even in the editing phase, it's you've got to try and think less and just be intuitive. You know, like I think the key to a great book is not trying to logically write a great book. It's just feel a great book. I just want to share something. I'm just got a couple of pictures. I went to and I don't know if I've already mentioned this, let me know. But a few weeks ago, I went to the Loom. Do you know? Have you heard of the Loom in Melbourne? It's an exhibition. I think I discussed this, but it was showing the works of Monet and all the French Impressionists, and it was the Loom. And I'm going to share you a couple of images in a sec, just so you can see what I'm talking about. But the first thing I saw when I walked through the door that was projected on the wall was this quote by Monet. I just want you to look at it, and you might need to read it a couple of times. But I thought, wow. So you should be able to see that. Now I'll make it a bit bigger for you.
Wow. Mm. It's beautiful.
Isn't it powerful?
Mm.
And it's interesting that the vast majority of the French Impressionists were dead before their art really had any impact on the world. They were, and many of them had mental and emotional issues and all sorts of challenges. But it's not until after they died that their stuff became wanted, needed, desired. So then what that does is then the question you ask is, so what inspired them? What inspired them in the first place? It certainly wasn't fame or money, because very few of them ever achieved that. And so that's why this quote, I think, is so powerful. It was like a calling. This is like it's not a logic. That's not logic, is it? It's not logic. It's not like I must paint a really nice painting for people to love. That wasn't, I think it was this inner, just, I don't know what the word is, inner meaning in his life that he just had to just see what the universe was showing him, and then just let his brush do the work. And I think that's what every one of us need to do as authors, just so you can see this is the Loom. I mean, this is what it looks like. So this is all projected on the walls and the floors. You know, this is all projection. you know, so all the artwork, and you know, you just get to sit in there and you're immersed in this amazingness, and there's sounds and there's animation, and, you know, so in a lot of them, you know, the artwork, it's actually moving. So if the artwork was a pond, you would see the ripples of the water, and you'd see the duck, you know, just swimming across the top of the water. So they animated it, and the music and the sounds, and it was just such a beautiful thing. But I think the message is that we're not in control logically of what we produce. It's in our heart. Every one of you, it's in your heart. So just know that it's there. Know it's great. Know it's amazing. Know you don't have to wait until you're dead until it's out there and you know, having an impact on lives. But just, again, just trust you. Trust yourself. Trust that it's there. So I think we sit there and we what am I going to write? Is it any good? And can I do it? And all this rubbish that we let occupy our brain, when you don't need your brain. Really, you don't. Brain's good for a lot of things. Creativity is not one of them. Your heart is where it all is. So anyway, I thought that was worth sharing. Yeah, Van Gogh's a great example, isn't he, of someone who was insane and dead, and before any of his artwork was ever recognized, you know, his life was miserable, I believe. So there had to be something more than a desire to achieve and be known and be famous and be rich. That's not what drove him to his art. And I think, again, and not saying we want to live a life of misery, that's not what I'm saying at all, but also to take the pressure off you and achievement, because achievement will happen when you do something that you love and it's really in your heart to do. So
Can I just say, Andrew, that was really what I needed to hear, really, because I think I'm one of those real overthinkers. I'm just bad at that. I know I am. But it's also in the whole literary area, they say, what genre are you writing? Know who your audience is, write to them, do that, do this, do that. And I get sucked into that.
it's easy. It's easy.
So, and what you said then just works well with me, because I don't write in any genre as such, and so I don't fit. But then I think, oh, should I be trying to fit?
You've got to try and force yourself.
And I overthink and think
yeah.
about, maybe if I tweaked it this way, then I could fit it in there or something. And I think I just need to stop that. And what you just said is great. I'm going to really try to stop it.
Just all you're doing is you're letting, in the words of Monet, letting your writing bear witness to the joy that's in your heart and the message you've got to share and the things you want. Just let it happen. But I mean, it's so true, Lisa, isn't it? I mean, we look at what society tries to push us in a box or push us down a path, doesn't it? Society wants us to, you know, get the education, get the job, and follow the rules and do everything right. And certainly in the publishing, writing, book space, there's so much noise in that space about getting published, not getting published, self-publishing, traditional publishing, you know, blah blah blah. There's noise everywhere, and the more you listen to, the more confused you're going to be. When you just stop and take a very big deep breath and listen to you, listen to what's in your heart, and just go with that. Your intuition, and you know, there's lots of words for it, isn't it? I mean, where you might call it intuition, you might call it God, you could call it whatever you want. The answers are inside all of us, not what others expect or think or whatever. No, none of that matters. It's what do you want for you?
I just say, Andrew, Lisa, I just loving this conversation. I just think, who's to say that the style that you're writing is introducing people to a new way? I mean, somebody has to start something. Somebody, you know, I mean, we talked about the Impressionists. I mean, they received a lot of flack because it wasn't the accepted style. It was completely new. They were painting outdoors. They were painting what the eye could see, not what the brain knew. So, and now we accept it, but it's taken, you know, through, as Andrew said, through their, you know, lifetimes, it was a struggle. Yeah, so yeah, that's a good reminder, Andrew. Thank you. And Lisa, yeah, just sticking with what is your intuition, what your gut feeling is, and how you need to express whatever's inside of you. Thank you. I needed to hear that too.
Okay.
I was just going to say that I think when you're doing it your way, it flows more easily. And then I think you're doing the right thing when it flows. And I've created a couple of things, like an online psych assessment where I did all the drawings and the words. And I was noting them first in a little notebook, like a moleskin notebook. And then I just started doing it straight online because it just actually just flowed. And it's like I knew what I wanted to say, but then it's like, how do I depict that with cartoon images? And yeah, it's a really interesting sensation internally when it's flowing. And I think if you try and force yourself to do it someone else's way, it actually blocks that flow. So Lisa, good on you if you've got your own genre you're creating. You'll just have to come up with a name for it, and then other people can aspire to join your genre.
Absolutely. Yeah, exactly. Everything we know now is normal was not normal, was someone's idea, right? Someone's crazy idea.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that's normal and natural for us now was someone's crazy idea, and they were told they're crazy. That'll never work. You know, like computers. Wow, that'll never work. Mobile phones. Oh, that'll never work.
Well, if you think of Jules Verne, people thought he was crazy, you know, to think that people could fly to the moon or go under the sea. And he was just 100 years ahead of his time. So my mother, and I've talked about mum quite a bit today already. I think it's probably because it's Mother's Day this weekend. But when I was little, she used to say anything the human mind can conceive can actually happen, which is one of the reasons I really like science fiction. I actually think we're seeing history in the making when we watch science fiction. And the reason I asked about any Whovians in the context of Van Gogh is that there is an episode where the Doctor and Amy actually visit Van Gogh. And it's a really interesting episode, and a lot of it is actually quite factual. And it's my favourite Doctor Who episode ever. Yeah. And yeah, I can see a lot of nodding heads. Some of you have seen it. And yeah, it's his life story is really sad, but his legacy is amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah,
absolutely.
That's my 2 cents worth.
Good 2 cents worth, Joe. Kat, you got a question or a comment?
Well, it would like we pivoted there so brilliantly. ChatGPT, no stock in the OpenAI, but I just thought might be interesting for this group share. I went to a free webinar, General Assembly last week, I think, on by a professional copywriter on how AI tools can help writers, not replace writers, help writers as a tool like a spell checker. And it was a really, really interesting webinar, and I won't try to parrot the whole thing, but there's like a lot of information out there, but I have played with it a little bit myself. It has been really cool for what we call in programming rubber ducking. So rubber ducking is the whole like, how might I, like, I can't figure out, you're talking through a problem. So with a language model like that, if I've been stuck on something when I've been trying to write for these applications or whatever, if I say, how pretend you are, blah, 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 and then give me some ideas. And what this webinar guy was saying is, was with marketing, he was saying, give me 10 ideas for a Facebook post headline for a men's Pilates class or whatever. But you can imagine how you can do that for your own book and marketing and publication too. So it's not getting it to write it because it's boring and it's going to be in its style. But if you look at that list of 10 and 2 of them click off things in your brain, then those are the ones you can go write for blog articles or whatever. And I have a friend who's been using it quite heavily for editing, in terms of, which is what Denise, you actually made me think of it, is when they've gotten stuck on something of how, like, they can't figure out how to say something. They've just asked, like, how would you reword this? And then you don't have to use it. You're just like, oh, I hate that. But then you can figure out why you hate it a little bit and then rewrite it in your own way. So anyway, we're talking about like science and being ahead of your time and whatnot. I think that, we've got these really cool science fiction-ish AI now freely available. And I know there's a lot of people in like the writing community or like freelance writing community are saying, just use it and don't use your brain, or other people that are like, it's going to replace us all. But I think there's actually a really cool third space that like we can take advantage of. So if you're feeling like being ahead of your time, get on the bandwagon.
Yes, absolutely. Awesome.
I actually used AI to design. I've got a new business that I'm setting up, and I actually used AI to design the logo. And it was just amazing, and it took seconds. So I came up with the idea, but it managed to turn it into a graphic. And originally I tried it in chat without realizing I hadn't really thought it through, that it doesn't do images. But what it did, which was really impressive, was it actually came back with a written description of how it would draw the logo and the reasons why it chose the things it chose. So if you haven't played with it yet, it's, if for no other reason, that it's incredibly entertaining and incredibly amazing to see how clever it is. And it will only give you information up to, I think it's 2021 was when they sort of finished taking on board the info.
Yeah, September 2021, if that matters, but like if the result came out after that. But
yeah,
do be careful of hallucinations. It'll try to tell you things that don't actually exist. So you have to be like, it's a tool for sure, Rosina, but yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, very clever.
Good one. Well, we're learning stuff, aren't we? Okay, anyone else want anything they want to share or ask before we wrap up? Okay. Well, as always, it's been a wonderful catch up with all of you. It's a smaller group today, but that's good. We've all had an opportunity to share and be a part of it, which is wonderful. A couple of things coming up directly after this. So I'll go out and then come back in, but at 11 o'clock Melbourne time, this is in 10 minutes. We're doing another info session for the Bali retreat. So if you've missed it, or you want to jump on and find out more, or just whatever, if you're open, interested, please jump back on in 10 minutes. The other thing is, in 2 weeks from today, Bill was on the forum last month. Bill's just published his book called Straining Against the Oars, and we're doing a launch for him in 2 weeks on that's the 27th of May in Australia, and the Friday the 26th in the US. So it's 10:30 a.m. Melbourne time. So Denise, for you, that'll be Denise, what time is it for you at the moment?
I'm a 7.
Okay, so it'll be 6:30 p.m. your time on the 26th. If you want to support Bill, which I think is always a good thing, isn't it? We support each other as we get published. But his books, he's had some amazing responses to his books. You're already having a powerful impact on lives. So that'll be in 2 weeks, and then in June, but there'll be another forum before this. Fred, who you all know, published his book. We'll be doing a launch for him as well. So
Andrew, sorry, will you send a link for that launch?
I think you've already been invited, Rosanna. I'm pretty sure it's the same link. But there's a Facebook,
okay.
put the Facebook event in the chat. Give me 2 secs.
Okay.
Just be aware I don't do Facebook, yeah.
I'm not
Well,
great with
Facebook's just the
Facebook.
event. It's just the event page. So where are we? So you'll copy. All right, so here's the oh, that didn't work. Didn't copy, sorry.
I have to go. So sorry, I've arrived early, leaving early. Sorry, arrived late, leaving early. Happy Mother's Day to the mothers, if there are any here. And have a great weekend, everyone. See you next time.
There you go.
Bye, Joe.
Bye.
Okay, so I've just popped the link in the chat. So if you want to click on that now before we end, otherwise it'll disappear. And that'll take you to the event page. But it's the same, it's this same Zoom link. Okay, so it's 10:30 in 2 weeks.
Okay.
10:30
Thanks, Andrew.
Melbourne time, so that's 8:30 Perth time and 6:30 p.m. Friday in Colorado. Anyway, thanks for being here, guys. Awesome. Great to see you all. You're wonderful human beings for sure, and proud of everything you're doing, and be proud and happy where you're at, and just let it flow. Just let it flow, and I might see some of you back in 5 minutes. Otherwise, we'll talk soon. Okay. Have a wonderful
Thanks, Andrew.
weekend.
Take care, everyone.
Bye.